Previously, we created a character to rival those of R.A. Salvatore, completed some chores around our sleepy home of Candlekeep, then went out with our adopted father and nothing terrible happened whatsoever. We were joined by our friend Imowen, saved a man from clicking the unalive button, then met two people of dubious morality and stole all of their things before ditching them in the middle of the wilderness. After picking the fruit off a diamond tree and extracting a ring from a rock, we headed north to the Friendly Arm Inn to meet some more potential party people and continue our quest to find out who murdered our not dad. When we arrive at this map, head along the southern edge until you find a glowy part of the ground here. There's a ring here that's really good, but unfortunately can't be used by anyone in the party at the moment. It's a ring of wizardry, which gives us double the spell slots when worn. After this, we're going to head across the drawbridge and into the courtyard, and then take a left at this house. A quick note here. Throughout this game, you're going to notice a lot of highlighted spots that you can loot. Some of these are locked and others are not. I'm not going to point these out unless they contain important things. Also, if a container is unlocked, you're free to ransack it. But if it's locked and someone sees you do it, the guard's going to get called. If you want to wander around and loot everything you can, then be my guest. But for this guide, I'm going to be sticking to the missions and whatnot. Feel free to pause at any moment though, so you can wander around and loot up. Inside, we're going to meet someone named Joya, who if you answer her kindly, she's going to be unsure about your credentials. But if you answer her gruffly, she's going to think you're perfect for the job that she has. Apparently she had a ring stolen by some hobgoblins, and she doesn't murder quite like she used to, so she wants you to go kill them in her stead and get her ring back. Pick option 2 and she'll tell you that they're up north. Now let's head to the right and towards the inn itself. Before we get to the stairs, look around to where the guards are. Once you get a sense for them, head to the stairs and you'll be approached by a man who just wants to ask you a few questions like where you're going and what your blood tastes like. Luckily, however, if you lead him down the stairs near the guards, no matter what he does, he'll be totally screwed. Once he's dead, loot his corpse for some things along with a letter detailing exactly how much you're worth. Next, if you want, head to your local temple. Temples are great for various things, such as healing your characters, removing curses, and even bringing the dead back to life so long as they aren't petrified or blown to pieces. They also provide identification services for your items. So if you want to, you can go ahead and identify all the things that you've had sitting around to learn more about them. You can also make donations to temples to raise your reputation if you're getting to the point that you're a little less than liked and the town guard are starting to eyeball your throat. Now let's enter the inn properly and get greeted by a guy who bemoans the fact that it's hard to be an iron trader these days with the bandits on the road trying to steal all the scrap. After this interaction, head to the upper left corner of this building and speak to Khalid and Jahira. They're two associates of Gorion who want to take you to the Nashkel mines and be pals and stuff. Jahira is a solid enough healer for your party and a decent melee fighter on her own right, while Khalid is, well, Khalid. But they come as a pair, so you won't get one without the other. Unless... See, there's a few ways to get around the pairing. If you want only one portion of the dynamic duo, there's a less nice way of doing it, such as sending them naked into a fight that they can't win. But there is a nicer way to do it. See, if you have them enter into a building solo, and then switch back to your party outside, and then reform the party by extracting the person that is currently in the building, they can't reach you to initiate dialogue. When they can't reach you to initiate dialogue, it means that they don't technically leave, which means that the person that they're also with doesn't get the opportunity to say that they're also going to leave. It's a fun little loophole in the AI's design. The only problem is that you need to make sure you deposit them in a building you're never going to enter. The moment you enter is the moment that they're going to talk to you, and then you're going to lose the other character. This can be really great when you want to get rid of someone and not feel guilty that you sent them to die with nothing but their underwear and a smile. For now, however, let's keep them together. You know, the more the merrier. Now we're going to go speak to Bentley and sell a few things, buy a few things, and maybe even get a room for the evening to heal, or just to get the rest if you need it. Once that's done, go upstairs to the 3rd floor and speak to Landrin. She'll ask you to take care of some spiders in her home in Beregost, the next town that we're going to visit. She'll ask you to bring back the body of one of them along with some boots and some wine. Go ahead and agree to do this, and then go talk to this fine gentleman over here who needs some pants pressed. Agree to press them with the best of them, and you'll gain the best item in the game. They literally do nothing. They do absolutely nothing. But These pants are imperative if you plan on playing later games. Not really. Again, I've lied to you twice now. Frankly, you just get them for the meme. I mean, the journey that these pants go on is kinda hilarious, and let's face it, you get to carry around some pants. For now, keep these trousers around. With these tasks finished, head back downstairs. On your way out, go over and speak to Dorn. He's going to discuss how you're not actually a serving wench, and then he's going to berate you. Go outside, now we're going to loop around to the northern part of this map and encounter a bunch of hobgoblins. Cut a bloody swath through them and you'll eventually come across the one that pilfered Joya's ring. Nab this and let's go ahead and take this back to her. She'll be overjoyed you brought this ring back, and then she'll just leave. Now we're going to head back to the south and back into the wilderness where we had a couple of things we needed to take care of. Now that we have a little bit more of a robust party, we can handle some of the harder things down here. Namely, we're going to go take care of an ogre that's been spending too much time playing Kingdom Hearts. This guy kinda covets the belts of others, and most likely will attempt to kill you for your own belts. You might as well strike first by killing him and taking all of the belts from him. One of these is a cursed item, while the other one is fine to equip. I suggest identifying them first so you can figure out which one's which by heading back to the Friendly Arm Inn or just waiting until you get to Beregost. You may also want to exit to the east and the south sides of this map so you can get both locations. We're ultimately going to head to the south to exit, so uncover the eastern section of the world map and then head south to leave. Also, while you're in this part of the wilderness, you may come across a bandit. They drop a unique item called a bandit scalp. Whenever you see these items, be sure you snag them and hold on to them for the future. They can make you a pretty penny further into the game. Either way, when you exit to the south, we're going to be headed to the next town of Beregost. You'll be greeted by a fine gentleman here who's going to let you know where all the best sites in Beregost are. If you get here at night, though, I'm going to say that you go ahead and find an inn and rest until the morning. Some of the shops aren't generally open, and it's better if we can have a place to offload some of our goods that we've gained from the road and identify some things. Head to the left of the buildings that are just below you from where you entered. Now we're going to go down the road a stretch and come across the inn. When you enter it, though, you're going to be accosted by a man named Marl. He's drunk and upset that you go out and adventure. Now, you could just slice him to ribbons for being a big loudmouth jerk, but instead, take the high road and choose options 1, 1, 3, 3, and 1. You'll discover Marl's precious baby boy decided to leave and become a big strong adventurer and never came home. With the tragic backstory done, you'll get 900 XP for this, a lot more than you would have gotten for killing him. This may also get you enough XP to level someone up. In my case, it was Jaheira. When you level in this game, you get a few things, typically just a decrease to your Thaco and some hit points. For casters, though, sometimes you get some spell slots for you to memorize more spells, and sometimes you get extra proficiency points, or points that go into specializations. Now let's go speak to the bartender who has a few nice things for sale that we may not be able to afford quite yet. Take a nap, and when the morning has arrived, it's time to see what Beregost has in store for us. We're going to head back up to the north near where we first entered, and then head east to perform a small circuit around the town. This means we're going to run into Nira, a pink-haired elven anime protagonist who needs our help. She'll plead for you to help protect her against some wizard ruffians. Agree to do this, and then some Thayan wizards are going to stroll up and demand you hand her over. Deny them this request, and Nira will let loose some magic, making the head Thayan wizard disappear and leaving behind his lackeys. You're also going to be spread out a little bit after this happens. If you're playing our Berserker, be sure to hit your rage while you have a moment to breathe, because sometimes Nira can get a little bit too excited with her magic and knock everyone out with an ill-placed color spray. Be sure you also target the wizard first too, as he can make life difficult by fearing some of your own party. When the wizard's dead, it's all downhill from here. Just burst down the other two thugs and you'll be all done. With Nira in tow, you have a decent enough wizard in your party to give the Ring of Wizardry to. This means you can get a lot more spell slots and get access to a lot more uses of one of the best starting spells in the game, Sleep. This is legitimately a great spell. Also, Nira can take some of the scrolls that we have laying around and learn these spells herself so she can cast them. She also has the ability to cast any spell that she has access to, with the possibility of things going awry due to her wild magic. It's useful, but sometimes it can cause some issues. She's also got a gem bag that you can thieve. This is great because it's a place you can stick all of the gems and necklaces that you pick up, and they won't take as much room in your inventory. It does have limited space though, like a lot of the other containers, so just be wary of that. With Nira in tow, head east until you find the edge of the map, and then go into the building with the blue roof. Speak to Marianne inside and get a quest to find some sign of her husband out on the road. Agree to help her find this info and then head back out of her house. Go south and head to the smithy that's here. They'll be able to identify a few things as well as sell you some better items for now and have some better items for later. For now, I'd go ahead and purchase a sling +1 as well as some bullets for Nira. You can also snag some plate mail here if you want, but we're going to be able to get some later by pulling a small prank on some unsuspecting mercenaries. You can also identify the girdles that you found and discover that one of them is a girdle of masculinity and femininity. This will allow you to swap the sex of whoever wears it, while the other is a girdle of piercing which allows you to resist arrows a bit better. Sell the cursed girdle unless you really want to give it to Khalid to join in on the girl power and give Jaheira a new outlook on life. The other can go on a frontline fighter to help protect against arrows. I typically give it to our protagonist just out of sheer nepotism. With everyone kitted out and ready to go, head south for the jovial juggler and go inside. Head over to speak to Bjorn, who's going to tell you about some half-ogres that stuffed him in a trunk. He wants you to get some revenge for him. Now head further in where a dwarf is going to approach you and accuse you of laughing at him. He'll tell you a tale about his unfortunate situation due to his famous cloak being pilfered straight off of his back. He'll tell you that it was done in cloakwood by some Tazloy. We're not going to be getting to this quest for a while, so just keep it on the back burner for the time being. Now we're going to leave the juggler and go to the left a little bit. This house is the House of Spiders. I suggest saving before you head in because this can be a rough one. You may have a couple of oils of speed which can be really useful on your frontline fighters as well as Imoen. You can try to sleep them as soon as you enter, but there's a high chance that you're going to get poisoned. You'll also possibly have someone die. Like that. If that happens, reload unless you're cool with them being lost. For me, I'll give Jaheira a hero's send-off by leaving her body in the middle of the road and continuing on. Be sure you grab the spider's body while you're here, as well as the boots and wine from this locker. Now we're going to go commit murder most foul by going back into the Feldpost Inn. Head upstairs and you're going to find a man here named Algernon. He's got something that we want. Now I know I said at the beginning that this was going to be a good guy playthrough, but this is probably going to be the only evil thing that we do. Morally gray at best. We just need this cloak because we're going to be able to put it to better use than this guy. Go ahead and murder him and take it. You can also try to pickpocket him for it if you really want to, but Imoen really doesn't have the skill, and the person that can pickpocket it later, I mean, that's later. I want instant gratification now. This cloak is magnificent because it gives an additional 2 to the charisma of whoever wears it. If your protagonist has a decent charisma score, they get to be your face and you can get some discounts on prices. Don't worry too much about your reputation either. You're going to have plenty of chances to get it back up there. Think of this as a small bump in the road on your way to greatness. Now we're going to head across the street to the nearby house to pilfer a book off of one of the shelves. The book that we're looking for is History of the Fateful Coin. Now go to the next house above it and we're going to find an old friend within. Give him his book and, well, I mean, you know what else to do here.
So hard to find decent folk nowadays. So hard to find decent folk nowadays. So hard to find decent folk nowadays. Decent folk nowadays. Decent folk nowadays. Decent hard to find decent folk nowadays. Hard to find decent hard to find folk nowadays. Decent folk nowadays. Decent folk nowadays.
Aw, yeah. He'll also give you a book in return and a scroll case to keep that magic you're going to collect on your journey. Leave Firebead's summer home and then head to the next house on the row and speak to the man inside. He'll tell you about his missing family, which we're going to be finding later. After this, we're going to head north to the Burning Wizard and go inside and speak to Zurlong about some boots. Apparently they got swiped from him, so in turn he's going to swipe your gold. Don't worry about this though. We're going to get it back. Head up to the second floor where you're going to find a magical mace that awaits us. You can give it to Khalid or Jaheira if you want. It'll occasionally stun whoever gets hit by it, which is incredibly handy. You may also have to try a couple of times to unlock the dresser that it's in, but if you'd invested a little bit into lockpicking for Imoen, you should be able to get it eventually. Now head outside and speak to Garrick out front, who's going to offer you a job. Accept it and he'll lead you around to his lady Silky, who wants you to help protect her. Before you speak to her though, surround her, for no reason whatsoever. Speak to her and she'll tell you to not do anything but stand around and look tough until she asks you to act. She'll also warn you about the gentlemen that are going to approach being smooth-talking wizards. When they do approach, they're going to seem a little confused as to why she's acting so strangely. It's because she's lying. Teach her what happens to liars by going back on your contract and killing her. When she's dead, you'll get a potion of defense from the guys you helped out and a quarterstaff +1 from Silky's body. Garrick will bemoan the fact that his employer is a corpse and has to join you. You can have him join if you want, but he has nothing of any real worth and honestly isn't that great, so I typically turn him away. Now we're going to head into the red sheaf next to where you killed that lady, but only with one character. Be sure to leave everyone else outside. You'll be approached by a would-be assassin named Carlet, who's very enthusiastic to introduce you to his weapon. Turn tail and run outside to where you have more room to battle him. Hopefully you'll be able to kill him though and not have to give a merry chase like I did. Now you can enter the red sheaf without an issue and go speak to a nearby gnome named Perdue, who recently got accosted by some creatures. Choose options 1, 2, then 1, and 1 again to accept his quest to go kill a gnoll for his short sword. Now exit to the south to discover the next area we need to go to. Instead of heading there, however, let's go back to the friendly arm to go ahead and turn in some of the items for Landrin. With all 3 of them given back to her, she thanks you for your hard work. Now it's time to head down to the south of Beregost. Nira may talk to you at this point and tell you all about why she fled her village. Answer her however you wish, but I'm typically pretty chill with my companions. When she's all done, go south a little bit until you find an Ogrillin. There's 2 on this road, so try to fight them one at a time because they could really put the hurt on you at this low a level. You'll eventually find a letter that Marion wanted. Now we're going to head west and come across a cave with some hobgoblins outside of it. Kill the hobgoblins by trying to take on a few at a time or sleeping them all, and you'll eventually find Zurlong's boots. These are really great boots that increase your potential to hide, which is perfect for Imoen for now. Head into the cave and find yourself a crate full of healing potions and some money. Now leave and start heading vaguely southeast. Eventually you'll find the road that leads south and a marker. If you find the marker, start inching your way south until you find a band of Flaming Fist mercenaries. When they approach you, they're going to try to accuse you of banditry, which no matter what you answer, they're going to fight you. We can use this to our advantage though, because defending ourselves from them does not result in a loss of reputation. This is where sleep is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting. The moment they start approaching, pause, and then put the sleep down in the middle of their group. They'll get hit by it, and if you're lucky, they'll all hit the ground, allowing you to casually murder them. When they're dead, you'll have access to free plate mail, which you can put on all your frontline fighters. The helmets they leave behind are nothing special, but they look swanky, so if you want to be different, go ahead and snag those up too. They'll perform the same function as the ones you have, however. Now let's go back to Beregost and turn in a few things that we have and lighten our load a little. First, we're going to go give Zurlong back his boots. He'll thank you and pay you 100 gold and apologize for stealing from you initially, and you'll get 300 XP. Now murder him for his transgressions and take the boots back. Nobody steals from me. Now you'll get the XP and the boots. Next, we're going to go back and give Marianne the note from her husband in exchange for a ring of protection that we can give to one of our frontliners to improve their AC. With these done, we're going to leave Beregost once again, but this time from the western area so we can get to a place called High Hedge. You can find a companion here named Kevon, who's really good at ranged combat. He does come with some slight baggage, however. See, he's hunting an ogre named Tazok currently, and if you don't immediately seek him out, Kevon will eventually get annoyed and not want to hang out with you anymore. Since we've got some stuff that we're going to be doing between here and there, it's up to you if you want to bring him. Personally, I bring him along and then dump him somewhere in the next town we hit, so that way he doesn't get angry that we haven't stopped at McDonald's. Now wrap around this big building you find here south and you'll find some gnolls. Pull them carefully or sleep the lot of them and you'll find that one of them is holding a short sword with the name Perdue written on it. Snag this for the curmudgeonly gnome and then head for the front of the building. Side note, while you're here you may possibly encounter some skeletons. When you kill them they drop their skulls. Snag one. I promise that the reason for grabbing these skulls is not purely to have a convenient ashtray. Now we're gonna head inside this building and meet a wizard named Thalantir. He doesn't seem to enjoy the company of others, but you can tell him that you heard a mage lives here who likes magic stuff, and he'll capitulate the fact that he likes magic stuff. Talk to him twice and you'll find out that he's a really good vendor that you can sell just about everything to. While you're here, I suggest you pick up the potion case where you can store all of your loose potions to reduce your inventory. You can also have him reveal the true history of your golden pants if you want to. Now we're going to exit south and head over to the mountainous area here. Go along the road until it curves to the left and you'll run into a bunch of hobgoblins. Sleep them or just brute force your way through them and you'll eventually clear them out. I usually micro a little bit here and have my range take care of their range while my melee mop up the close-ranged fighters. Now head into the trees near here and find a necklace on the ground with a few bodies. Snag this for the coal kettle guy that we spoke to earlier about his missing family. Now we're going to go down to the southern edge of this map and just exit. This will unlock Nashkel and the carnival beside it. We're going to go ahead and get back to Beregost though and turn in these quests. Head over to the Red Sheaf to give Perdue back his sword to get some XP and money. Now we head to Colkettle's Manor just south and complete that quest as well. This pretty much wraps up Beregost for now, just like it wraps up this video. Join us next time when we're going to be going to a carnival, heading to Nashkel to talk about some mines, and exploring the wilderness for fun and profit. I hope you all found this video useful. If you did, give it a like and consider subscribing for more guides like this one. If you want more content from me, I also have a Twitch that I stream on occasionally. You can find me over at twitch.tv/AppleBandito. Until next time, however, take care of yourselves and stay safe, everyone.